Hello and welcome back to From the Backseat. Today is a very exciting episode for Clark. But before I even get into that, let's get into some introductions. Hey, my name's Ethan. I'm the host of From the Backseat, and I'm joined by my co-host.
What up, guys? It's Clark here, the biggest moron in San Diego sports, here to provide you with some just absolutely elite takes. So, as always, I'm here for you no matter how stupid or bad it comes. I'll show up every day.
Hey, our stupid takes are getting a lot of engagement right now, Clark. So I think we should be happy with that.
Just a little bit.
So today, hear the laughing of a third voice. Today we are so honored to be joined by Devine Sports Gospel. It is so cool to have us. We have Matt from those boys over there. So Matt, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Matt. I'm 1/3 of the Devine Sports Gospel. Similar to From the Backseat, two of us, so me and my brother are from San Diego, my buddy Nick's from Newport, not Newport, but kind of like Orange County area. But yeah, similar kind of vibe, sports podcast, SoCal, trying to do it out here. Came across your guys' TikTok. We got in some conversations, and I was lucky enough for you guys to bring me on. I'm very excited.
I think the first one we got into was about you left the Yadier Molina thing. I think I said
that was
like,
me
oh,
too.
bad take.
That was funny. Like looking back, like I literally was just chilling. I'm like, bro, like no, like Yadi's definitely a fucking.
I know. I feel like again, like everyone pushed back on that immediately. As like every single person I know says, Clark, you're an idiot for that. But I've died on the hill now, and I just have to stick with it.
No, you got to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, well, like maybe he doesn't go in first ballot, and then you could just like stomp on everybody's grave.
Oh, if he doesn't go in first ballot, you will not hear the end of it. I will freaking dance on everyone's grave that ever.
So you're just anti-Yadi here on out. I like it.
Well, I mean, pretty much at this point, I have to be anti-Yachty first ballot. That's the only rule for myself.
I love it.
So.
Yeah, I mean that was our first thing to really blow up, and that's how you found us, which was awesome. The biggest thing about that video though is not that it blew up, but it's just how many people then decided we were just absolute morons from then on. You don't know how many people just comment on our stuff about like just how dumb we are, that we don't know ball, that we don't know football, that we don't know anything.
No, that's all TikTok is just a bunch of like 14-year-old kids that like watch like Lamar, like their like first football memory was like Lamar at Louisville, and they're like, oh my god, bro.
It's like, oh my god,
you don't know ball, you don't know.
Game? Oh.
Hey, bro, there's so many just nimrods, dude. They're like, who's the best baseball player of all time? They're like, well, like if I'm going throwback, it's Christian Yelich.
Yeah,
like, bro, like come on. Man. I'm like, how old are you, bro? They're like in like They're at like Pop Warner practice, giving you shit on their phone.
I know exactly. I just know
like you're 13, bro. Like you have to be able to like.
You just don't know, like you don't know ball. I'm just like,
bro. I low-key, I can't even hate on that though, because like if anyone gives me shit, I'm like, just sounds like you don't know ball.
Yeah, you don't know ball.
It is low-key. Like when someone hits me with that, I sometimes have to tip my cap because I'm like,
yeah, seriously, you don't know ball. One of those
reverse Uno card, bro.
Backs at someone.
Exactly.
You don't know ball.
So speaking of this, Matt, what is your like all-time favorite comment you've ever gotten on one of your videos? Like one that you just looked at and just like laughed at. Clark and I have had plenty of those where we send them back and forth and just kind of like laugh to ourselves.
Yeah.
But what's like something that you thought was either like really insightful or just like something like way out there that you're like, no way?
So there's two. So one isn't necessarily like our podcast, but my little brother actually like raps too. And he's like pretty good actually. So his name's Big Me. He's on Spotify. Like I wouldn't bring it up if he was asked. Like he's actually pretty nice.
Does he do your intro music? Is he the one on your intro?
Yeah, so he does the intro. Yeah. So he's actually kind of nice with it. And he posted he made a song called Chet Hanks that kind of like didn't go like crazy, but like got like probably like 30,000-40,000 views on Spotify. And he made a little music video for it. And we send it into, because we live in the Bay, we send in this Instagram account called The Thizzler, and it's like the 400,000 followers, like the Bay Area's #1 rap account. We paid $400 for them to post it up, right? Because everybody, it's usually just like they don't usually see like just like some like white kids rapping, right? And like he like the song is good, and one of the comments on it was this crack is sliding. And we both like he took a screenshot of the comment, and he has it hung up in his room now. So that's probably my all-time favorite comment, even though it was a podcast. I guess podcast wise, damn bro, a lot of Dodgers fans are very mean. I post videos that I'm like I posted this video the other day, that like got some action, and it was like Ha-Seong Kim. Like Padres literally almost got swept by the Dodgers. Like it was almost really bad. And we came back one last game of the series. So I was like in Tahoe for the 4th, partying, doing everything, and I'm like, we won, right? So I go and I like save the video of like the Korean call, and I post a video of me, and I'm like, biggest home run in MLB history, right? Like super sarcastic. Yeah. And these fools commenting were so mean, bro. They're like, you Padres fans, like, you'll never win. You do the. I'm like, bro, if you go on any video that has anything to do with the Dodgers and you check the comments, bro, ruthless. Like, you gotta have.
Oh yeah.
You gotta realize that, bro. And like the funniest thing is like, especially on Twitter, if you get in a fight, you just post their profile picture. You just never write a comment. Just because you guys are good looking dudes. You guys are like normal looking dudes. A lot of these fools that talk shit are like ugly. So you just literally just go, you screenshot, you take their picture, you don't even write a comment and just post it, and they get so pissed, bro. Like it's literally like it's full, like unless they're like a normal looking dude, which they're usually the people that are trolling on Twitter aren't. Bro, you just take their picture, respond. It's the funniest thing of all time.
One of my favorite things from like just like his responses to Dodgers fans and Padres fans have done is whenever like they win a game. And then someone just takes the video of people celebrating the streets after that wild.
Oh yeah, the Dodgers celebration videos and all time.
Yeah, and they'll send it out, and then Dodgers fans like, oh wow, look at these losers celebrating in July. Like they actually believe it's real. It's such galaxy brain stuff.
I literally don't understand how a fan base could be so gullible, bro. Like I have homies that are Dodgers fans that are the absolute boys, right? Like grew up in LA, similar to like, but like, dude, these fools on social media that are like big Dodgers fans legitimately are the most insecure, gullible fools I've ever seen, bro. Like I'll post a video of like Craig Stammen gets out of an inning, right? And it's like everybody in San Diego like celebrating, and it's a day game, and people will comment like, these fools celebrate for anything.
Let's just try to use the frontal lobe to try to think a little bit about what's going on.
How are you guys? I mean, it gets views.
That's great.
Well, it's funny you say that because Dodger video that we posted where Clark said 0, block the number. One of the Dodger fans commented, "Oh, how does it feel that you guys have lost 11 out of the 13?" And it was right before Ha-Seong Kim hit the home run. And I just comment back, "You got better correct that." And then he's just like, "No, it doesn't matter. No. It's just one loss."
Yeah,
just one loss, bro. I'm like, dude, their fan base is hilarious because when you really think about it, the Dodgers have been outside of like real World Series rings. They've been the best team in baseball for like the last decade, but they're so insecure, bro. Yeah. It's so funny because they know deep down that COVID Cup, bro, Trent Grisham looked like the best player of all time during that 60-game season. That motherfucker sucks right now. Bro, what a gold glove. I thought he was going to be – bro, I literally thought Trent Grisham was going to be like a cornerstone of our franchise for the next decade. And now we got fools on Twitter like, we got to send him down to AAA for Esteri Ruiz. I'm like, damn, gun to my head, you would have said that 2 years ago. I'd have been like, absolutely not, bro. And it's just funny how like 60 games, bro, like 60 games in, we were one of the best teams like ever. And then like we fell off last year. We finished like 28 games out of first place. I'm like, whatever.
It was just sadly, it's actually like we only played well for like 80 games last year too anyway in 2021.
This year is going to be I'm very excited to see how we react to this slump we've been on because every team, bro, 162 games, like that's the difference between baseball and football is football, right? Like, dog, you lose 3 games in a row, like bad losses, your coach is going to get fired. Like it's crazy. Like baseball, sometimes the fucking Pirates sweep the Dodgers on the road, bro. Yeah. And the Dodgers are still going to be one of the better teams. It's just like, it's interesting stuff.
I think the biggest thing, no matter what for us, I think compared to this year, like last year for most example, is I think Bob Melvin's the difference. I don't think Bob's going to let it get that bad. Spot
on, dude. He's the best. I truly think he's a top 3 manager in baseball, closer to 1 than he is to 3.
Oh wow.
He brought some really the teams he had in Oakland, they didn't spend any money, right? They were good. Oakland gets a lot of shit, right? But like their player development's pretty solid and they scout really well. Well, they scout pretty well, right? So when you look at all these players that like Marcus Semien, Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, you see all the Chris Bassett, Mark Hanna, like their entire squad, they let them all go, but like they're all legit MLB players. But the reason why they're as good as they were was because Bob Melvin is someone that just demands respect. And it's hard to do. You're in a locker room with guys like Manny Machado that make $300 million. bro, if I'm 20, I mean now 30, but if I'm 30 years old making $300 million guaranteed, no one can tell me anything, bro.
Yeah, I'm not listening to Jason
so
tell me
you
anything.
have to be someone that you have to be someone that's respectable, right? And that's hard. But Bob Melvin's that guy. So
Bob Melvin commands. I mean, that's all the guys that even talked in the clubhouse. So they're talking.
Yeah, Bob Melvin's just the dude. Like everyone wants to be on him, dude.
And that's the difference between him and previous managers like Andy Green and Jace Tingler. It's just like, and no disrespect to Jace, he was just in over his head, bro. And that was Preller. Yeah. Preller, he's a Preller guy, and Preller was like, "Hey, I'm gonna see if this works." And he kind of wanted to puppet, and they right when shit started to stink, they were like, "Jace is the first guy we're gonna get out."
Yeah,
so,
Jace is the scapegoat for it. Jace was as bad as everyone probably gave him a rap for, but at the end of the day, AJ probably had to have a guy that was a fall guy. It was gonna be Jace.
Well, Clark, agree with me on, or let me know what you think on this. If you could survive that 2021 collapse that we witnessed last year and still be watching every game this year, you're as true of a Padres fan as they possibly get, bro. That was some of the most disheartening. I truly thought this time last year, I'm like, we're gonna win the fucking World Series, bro. Like I was juiced. And that collapse was the worst, bro. I've watched some bad Chargers collapses, right? Like not Marlon.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff. But like, what's his name? Nate Kading fucking against the Jets, like all that stuff. That collapse last year, like I was like, every day I woke up and I'm like, please win this game. And it was just another just heartbreaker, bro. And it was just like boom, boom. And my girlfriend was like, why are you still watching this team? I'm like, I physically can't not watch this.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like it's like a signature mark of a San Diego Padres fan at this point, is that it's like it always feels like the train wreck is coming, and you're like, I've been on this thing. I'll see the fire at the end, even if I'm in the fire with it. So you can't really judge. I mean, I've been through. I mean, as you know, through like the 2010 season, we were up like 10 games the last month and a half. We blow that to the
Giants win the World Series.
Yeah. Losing 163 because Matt Holliday still hasn't touched on
it. Never touched it. Never touched
it. You know, it's just a lot of those things. It's like you feel the heartbreak. You know, you get to they get absolutely train wrecked by New York. It's just a lot of those.
We'll always have that Tony Gwynn fifth inning home run though when we were up 2-1.
No one forgets that. No one forgets that.
That's an all-time YouTube. We were all like 2 years old. Or at least I was like 2 years old then. But I watched that on YouTube way too often for me to be only 2 years old when I watched it.
Yeah, just a little sweet memory for fans out there to look for.
Yeah, right. I'm like, dude, like I watched that Hunter Renfroe grand slam off Kenley Jansen so much.
It's so mad. I gotta ask you, how involved in Padres Twitter would you consider you are?
That's a great question, Ethan. So I feel like I love Twitter. I've always been on Twitter, and I've also just like always been a huge Padres fan.
Yes. So
I feel like me and my brother have kind of assimilated ourselves into it for the last like maybe like 5 or so years. But the thing is Padres Twitter, there's so many freaking weird cats on Padres Twitter.
Oh yeah. I mean,
like,
do you remember?
I'm not even like no disrespect, right? Like I'm like anyone that's a Pods fan, I'm cool with.
I know what you mean.
Like these fools are like really, really like you guys ever heard of the beer test where you're like, yo, would I grab a beer with this dude?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like I like to use that when it comes to like judging character, right? Where I'm like, and it doesn't even matter if you like don't like to drink, right? I'd be like, would I be down to like grab a bite with this person? And the issue with Padres Twitter is 95% of them don't pass that test. like literally, there's some fools that are super nice. Like I got a couple homies that are on it like a lot too that I love. But like a lot of the time, I'm like, dude, like these guys are fucking weird. Like honestly,
I would tend to agree. Padres Twitter is an interesting space to be, no matter.
But like they also root for the Padres, so I'm like I'm with it. But like sometimes they get like, bro, they get on these like they have a few fools that they like look up to, and like whatever they say, like it's what goes. Like it's gang mentality, right? So they say something like, bro, like Hodge is a perfect example. Eric Hosmer has not lived up to his contract, right? We can all admit that.
No, not at all.
It seems like in all honesty, it seems like Hosmer is the homie. Like I would beer test wise, I'd easily grab a beer with Hosmer. It sucks that he hasn't lived up to his contract. These fools like cyber bully this dude to an extent where I'm like, bro, I would delete. If I'm Hosmer, I would not have any social media.
No,
like,
if you were Eric Hosmer, no shot you go on any sort of social media.
Bro, but people forget, bro. If these fools saw Eric Hosmer at Chipotle, dude's 6'4", massive. Like, you think they're going to continue to say, DFA this fool, do this, like, this guy should never see another person and say, like, I'm like, bro, they're so mean, but I'm like, bro, you got to realize these are real people. And that's what kind of pisses me off about Padres Twitter sometimes. And like, there's levels, right? Like, sometimes I watch this team and I'm like, bro, like, Tuesday against the Mariners, we had bases loaded, second inning, didn't score runs. I'm working from home. I'm sitting in my chair. That was the first time all season I was genuinely angry. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Nola ground out, Trent fly out, CJ fly out. I'm like, bro, I'm watching this and like, I felt pure anger for the first time in like a year and a half, where I was like, this is like not good, right? Yeah. Like, I'm like a seriously concerning moment. I gotta take a breath, right? Where I'm like, dude, these guys it's their job, right? Like, people go through slumps and stuff, but like the gang mentality on Padres Twitter is the worst, to be completely honest. But at the same time, I'm also trying to get our page kind of going, so I kind of have to interact as well. So I like a happy medium where I'm like, bro, like, if you're cool, I'm cool with it. But like, sometimes they go a little too far.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. This is my question. Do you remember Pete Alonso 9/11?
Oh yeah, the 9/11 picture.
Yeah, I feel like that's when Padres Twitter to a whole different place of like.
Dude. I mean, that picture is like. So I'll give my honest take on that. The picture, like it's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I won't lie. The first time I saw it, I cracked up. I laughed.
Who didn't? I feel like who didn't though.
Bro, like there's shit in life that is funny. It's not necessarily like I would never post it, but like sometimes you laugh, right? Like there's things you see that I wouldn't want to tell my mom I laughed at it, but I laughed, right? That being said, is it a little too much? Absolutely. My issue is more the cyberbullying of kind of like players and stuff, and not realizing that these dudes are like, because people forget, like my buddy actually just got brought up to the Rockies like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I went out to Colorado. They were playing the Padres. They actually swept us. That was like the beginning of our shit 2 weeks. But my buddy, he went to Cathedral. His name's Sean Bouchard. Finally got brought up. He tells us on Thursday morning, me and my brother, a couple of our homies buy flights. We're there, batting practice Friday. Like we went there the whole weekend. It was one of the best weekends ever.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
When you're on the field and you're like talking to these fools, like you realize you're like, bro, these dudes are just like us, but like they just kept playing baseball and they were hella good. Like there's like basically just like they have families, bro. Like I was sitting in the family section. I was next to like Daniel Bard, the closer for the Rockies. I was next to his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
And Bard had like there's runners on first and third, and like he was in a save situation. And watching his wife, like realizing like this is like real people and like real shit. Like his wife looked like she was about to have a heart attack, bro. And you realize you're like, bro, like when you're watching from home, you forget like, yo, like, does it suck when Jose Azocar strikes out with runners on second and third?
Yes.
Yeah, it sucks. But like you have to realize like the motherfucker's not trying to strike out, bro. Like
exactly.
I don't know. I just sometimes and I catch myself sometimes too, because like I don't know. I feel like posting on social media is one thing. Like texting in your group chat, like, bro, Haas sucks. Like I've done that.
I text all the time in my group chat.
Or DFA Haas. The name of our group chat is literally DFA Haas.
Yeah, dude, I'm in another group that's very similar, right? Like that gets brought up way too much. That being said, like the only difference is like, bro, like it's posting it, right? Like,
dude, exactly. Yeah. I always I try to quantify it as I try to always quantify it as like when I think about it, it's like, okay, imagine if someone showed up to your job and said something like that to everyone, like to you.
Nah, dude, I would get
like that'd be pretty tough. It'd be a little tough.
I'm like making some cold calls. They're like, bro, that sucked.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
dude, I know. I'll be like, I know.
Let go of your job. I'd be like, all right, man, let it go. I can live without it.
That's spot on, dude. And that's every sport, bro. Like you forget. I mean, like you're a Bengals fan, right? Like, you got some fools, man. Like, well, what's funny is like San Francisco, right? Like, I was up here when they lost to the Rams. I think it was like Jaquise Tart or whatever his name is, dropped that interception off Matt Stafford.
Yeah, Jaquise Tart. I'm sure everyone wanted to just lose it with him.
Bro, dude, like that guy. So, like, imagine the DMs that kid was gonna get, right? And yeah, I mean, just crazy stuff. I feel like social media sometimes people take it a little too seriously, but you just can't, bro. Like, just don't tag players either, bro. Like, I see some fools that tag, and I'm like, dog, like, come on.
It's a little bit much.
No, that's
a little bit much for sure.
Ask you, Matt. So, from what I understand, I don't know if you're not a Chargers fan anymore, right?
Dude, I used to be like Bro, like probably honestly outside the Tatis home run against the Cardinals in the NL Wildcard Series, last 5 years, the best sports moment of my life was the Mike Williams 2-point conversion week 18 against the Chiefs. Bro, like I was the Phillip Rivers is still my favorite athlete of all time. Like I love that dude to death. I wonder if I have a shirt that says Spanos sucks, bro. That dude is just such a cock, bro. Like, and I honestly think if he sells the team, I'll be back. But right now, dude, I'm just kind of like, I kind of just fell out of love with him. It sucks.
Bro,
and that's the funniest part, dude, is they fucking have lucked into like the most generational QB of all time. And I'm like, these fucking guys I'm like, this is just so Chargers that these fools moved to LA. Imagine San Diego with Herbert and Tatis, bro. I would be, my God. You guys think if you guys follow us long enough, you'll be like me with Tatis, bro. I would be twice as big of a fucking Herbert fan, dog. Bro, me, my brother, we were the biggest Chargers fans, dog. And then like when they left, it was pretty fucked up. It was also a little bit of San Diego's fault, but dude, Dean Spanos is just such a cock, bro. Like he doesn't have any money. His entire life is summed up to the Chargers. And like, bro, like now his sister's suing him and stuff. So I guess I'm not a Chargers fan anymore. I feel like I don't know. It's kind of like an ex-girlfriend, right? Where like every football season is kind of like when you're like, oh shit, like damn, she's looking pretty good, right? Like maybe I should get back to her. And like in your head, you're like, don't text. But you're like, shit, Herbert, that's a pretty tight spiral, bro. I'm like, shit, like should I mob? And then I'm like, every time I do, I'll regret it. So I'm in a weird spot right now.
Okay. Yeah. So I just mobbed it back. And Clark could tell you. So when the Chargers moved, I was in that weird in between stage. Phillip Rivers, still my favorite player of all time. He went over to Indianapolis. He left LA. And so, like, I was like, I'm a Colts fan now. Like, I'm done with the Chargers, officially over. They got Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod played one game, and that's probably the only Chargers game I haven't watched live in the past, like, 10 years.
Wasn't that when he got stabbed by the doctor?
That was the next game. Next game. I was at home, and my dad was like, we just watched Red Zone, and my dad's like, should we watch the Chargers? The Colts aren't on right now. And I'm like, you know what? Sure. And so we're watching the game. We're like, this is going to suck. Tyrod's so bad. We're not even fans anymore. Yeah. And then Herbert trounced onto the field and scored on the opening drive. And we're both like, up, and we're back.
So sick, dude. It's just crazy, bro. Like, he's literally so dope.
He's so fun. He's so good.
It will be easy for me to hop back in. I hate, and Ethan, I don't know if you agree with me on this. Why couldn't they have just named them the California Chargers, bro? Like,
yeah, I mean, I
had to name them the LA Chargers, bro, or like the SoCal Chargers. Like, dog, if they would have named them the California Chargers, I would be all in. I just hate the name Los Angeles Chargers because nothing pisses me off more than when I go on Twitter and some fucking Dodgers fan is giving me shit, and I check their account and it's like bolt up. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like, no, it's not your team. It's not you guys. That was never
Ethan,
you guys.
You might know this. So 2020 playoffs, right? Dodgers, Padres, NLDS. The Chargers tweet, "Go Dodgers," and that's the moment. That's actually, I'm not even kidding. I forgot. That's the moment that made me say F the Chargers. And until they gave my trust back, I'm like F them. I don't have a team.
No, that was like so triggering for so many people.
The picture of Derwin James in a Dodgers jersey posted on that before that series. I will never get that picture out of my head. Bro, I sent that in my group chat. That's the most angry these fools have ever been, bro. Like we were saying some words and I'm like, bro, like I didn't even know that was in some of my buddies' like vocabularies, dog. Like just pure anger.
It's really weird now because there hasn't been much Chargers-Dodgers stuff, but Herbert just went to like Angels games and now was in the City Connect stuff.
Bro, I'm all for it, bro. Bro, if the Chargers, dude, just like the fucking LA Angels, name them the California Angels and name the Chargers the California Chargers and move on. I will be the biggest Chargers fan. It's the fact that it's the simulation. I hate the Dodgers more than I hate the Dodgers more than I hate any organization. Sports organization. I one time said that and I got asked about a couple and I was like, okay, I might have to take that back. Sports organization of all time. And I just hate the fact that the Chargers are connected with that right now. Mm-hmm. So like if they just go all in and they're like, we're Angels fans, that will help bring me back a little bit. I'm like, bro, same with the Clippers, dog. Like what? Like you guys are all second fiddle, bro. Come back to SD.
Oh, I saw that you were posting. You're thinking about becoming a Clippers fan after they signed John Wall.
I've always loved John Wall, bro. Like the fucking Troop 41 John Wall dance. You guys remember that?
Yeah,
the John Wall, bro. I got that was pretty great.
And Kawhi, San Diego State.
Yeah, Kawhi is a San Diego State fan.
Yeah, he's a god. But yeah, dude, I don't know. The Chargers are weird, man. I really wish I could still, because they're gonna be good this year, bro. Like that defense.
Oh, they're gonna be really good.
Stacked. Like, also, people are sleeping on Isaiah Spiller. I bet on a lot of fucking college football. That kid's gonna be nice, dude. Eckler and Spiller, that like duo is gonna be freaking nasty.
Well, since you brought up college football, this isn't a part of our show, but I'll ask you, what do you think about all this realignment? You're a California guy. What do you think about the Pac-12 just dissolving?
I want SDSU to make it into the Pac-12, dude. I think that would be sick.
That would be. I think the San Diego State, I've argued for the longest time San Diego State should be in there because they're better in multiple sports than almost half the conference.
Yeah, look at Oregon State, bro.
Yeah,
no.
Besides baseball, Oregon State is terrible at everything else.
Yeah, shout out Adley Rushman, baby.
Yeah, seriously.
But no, I completely agree. I think it's really funny that like USC and Maryland are going to be in the same conference. Like the idea of like, oh, bro, like we got a big conference game against the Terps. Yeah, 6 hours across the country flying.
Almost fine. We got to fly there.
Yeah, it's so funny. I also think conference stuff is like, so I went to Cal Poly, so I never really got into the, I never was in like the college football kind of, like, SEC over everything. Like, I didn't go to Bama, so I wasn't like, oh, I'd rather Clemson win than Georgia and like stuff like that. I've just always been a fan of the sport. So like, I feel like my perspective is a little skewed. I just think it's funny, bro. I think college sports is hilarious. How like for years they were trying to hide like kids were getting paid, and now it's like so out in the open. Now it's like Malachi Nelson going to USC. They're like, yeah, he's gonna make like $7 million.
Yeah, exactly. There's no hype. It's just like
Reggie Bush loses his Heisman. Malachi Nelson's making $7 million a year. Reggie Bush's mom got a house, just a normal house. Like it wasn't like he was making like fucking $40 million, even though he made the school $100 million. Bro, like Reggie Bush, San Diego legend.
Reggie Bush, Helix High School, absolute San Diego legend.
Yeah, dude. So anyone that's from SD, I'll rock with.
Yeah.
So, Matt, I also got to ask you, what's the best bet you've made? What's the biggest earner?
Bro, dude, I'm low key. Thankfully, I'm such a pussy when it comes to bets because I suck at betting. So like, I'm like the max, bro. Like the max bet I've ever made was probably like maybe like I threw like $200 on the Super Bowl or something like that. Yeah. I've never been like, I got some buddies that are like straight degens, bro. Like buddies that like get texted by bookies, like, yo, like just like very sketch, right? Like I've always been very kind of calm. I bet a lot, but like mostly like I'll throw like $15 on like the pot.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, because it's like if you lose the 15, you're not going to lose it. But if you win the 15, you're like, okay, that's cool.
Nah, dude, like you don't want it, dude. I remember like before I had a job, like my senior year of college, it was like when I got into betting and I would lose, like I would throw these like 18 parlays down. I would lose every one because it's a fucking 18 parlay.
18
I'd be screaming. I'm like, if the Titans just would have got that onside kick, I would have won. And then the best about betting is when your buddies who just get into it, they don't say they lost $10. They said they lost like 800 because they're like, bro, if this would have hit, I would have won 800. So they don't say they lost 10. They're like, bro, I lost $800 last weekend. I'm like, whoa, what'd you bet on? They're like, yeah, I threw $10 on this parlay and one leg didn't hit. I'm like, whoa, you lost $10.
Like, $10. You didn't lose 800.
Let's make sure we run it back a little bit.
Yeah,
like
you did not lose. I had a buddy exactly like that. Like I had a buddy I went to college, shout out Garrett Bachmeyer, but had like this 12-team parlay that originally like started off normal because it was a football Sunday. So you had those. But by the end, he got to like the 10th to like 9th leg was Hungarian women's soccer. He was throwing money on. I'm like,
I know some
where are they even making lines for this? Who is making a line for that game? And he's throwing it down. Unbelievable.
Ethan, my best bet though was there's this Reddit called Reddit Sportsbook, right? It's a subreddit.
Yep, I know it.
And, so it was probably so I did a 4+1 at Cal Poly. So it was my 5th year and I'm studying for some tests and my buddies all hit me up. They're like, yo, go on this Reddit thing. And I'm like, all right, for sure. So I go on and it's during winter and they're like, yo, Mexican Baseball League. Some guy on Reddit's like, yo, they're throwing this game, right? This team's throwing the game. And so everybody on Reddit's like, oh shit. So I throw like $100 on it and all of my buddies are like, let's go. And so it was when So they didn't have a stream of the game. It was kind of like MLB Gamecast, but it was for Mexico.
Yep.
And so we go. It was like, I forget. It was like maybe like, I forget what the team names were. Let's say like red versus white. And like I had red run line, right? -1.5. And they were supposed to, the other team was legitimately supposed to throw the game.
Yeah.
The other team won like 11-6. The Reddit after that, bro, was the funniest comments of all time, bro. Like I honestly, you never know with Reddit, but like, bro, some of these fools were like, I bet my rent on this game.
Yeah,
like,
my house on this, dude. Yeah.
That was a good lesson betting wise, where I realized I'm like, bro, everybody's full of shit with betting, bro. Like honestly, you can do as much homework of all time, and then you're watching a Chargers game and Tyrod Taylor gets hurt and Justin Herbert comes in, and you're like, oh my god, I was gonna fade the Chargers, and now they win. You're like, all right,
yeah.
So I would say the Mexican baseball was probably the funniest story.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. So we kind of ran through our interview kind of long. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want? Let's do one segment. Would you guys rather do predictions or would you guys rather do unwritten rules?
I kind of want to. I like the unwritten rules. I think unwritten.
Yeah,
rules
I'm down because predictions. I was, as much as I wish I could go outside the box. Like I was gonna say,
no, it's
I'll just run through them real quick. I was gonna say, Paul Goldschmidt for NL MVP, Sandy Alcantara for NL Cy Young, NL Rookie of the Year. Dude, that's like the one that's like the most. The future for Mackenzie Gore at $25.
I did too. I had a future on Mackenzie Gore. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So I would love Gore to win. Spencer Strider for the Braves pitch today. He's shoving. Michael Harris for the Braves is also really good. Like I think Michael Harris is like potential to be really, really good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say
it's been an interesting one preseason too.
Yeah, O'Neal Cruz is lit. He won't win the Rookie of the Year, but like talent-wise, he probably is the most potential like out of all of them. But I would say AL Rookie of the Year, J-Rod, easy. Even though Jeremy Pena is good and Bobby Witt and Jeremy Pena are really good. So I'd say J-Rod, AL Cy Young. Bro, low-key, Verlander's been shoving, dude. I would love to see Verlander get it. But if he doesn't win, shit. I mean, bro, like the thing with Shohei is like, dog, like I would say Shohei MVP, but like I don't really want to give him the MVP again, even though he deserves. Shohei's getting to the point, and I guess you guys could probably clip this. I think what Shohei is right now is what LeBron James was during his runs in Miami, and like when LeBron was at his peak.
Wow,
he legitimately should have won MVP every single year. And I think Shohei is getting to the place where he's so dominant on both sides of the ball that if you truly add just one player's value, no one will ever beat him. Like offensively, Aaron Judge and Yordan Alvarez are having better seasons. There are some pitchers having better seasons than him. But if you add both, he's a top 10 batter and a top 10 pitcher combined. Yeah. And if he does that every single year, he should never lose MVP.
No, so I feel like he brings the greatest value from both sides for sure. I mean, I had like my AL MVP, I had Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, I love Yordan.
I love Yordan so much. And I think it's always hilarious to look back. The Dodgers traded Yordan Alvarez
for Josh
Fields and O'Neal Cruz for Tony Watson. Like thank God they're not in Dodger blue.
Yeah.
And then the other, I had the same thing. Sandy Alcantara for NL Cy Young. I had and then my AL Cy Young. I had Shane McClanahan from the.
Oh yeah, Shane's been great. That's actually a great pick. He's been awesome, dude. He's like he's an easy 11Ks a game, just shoving, dude. He's also 25. He's so young.
He's crazy. He's a stud. Hopefully the Rays. Actually, I don't know if the Rays want to trade him away when he actually has.
They'll trade him when he's like Blake Snell, and they'll figure out if he's a head case, and they'll trade him to the Padres. Even though I love that trade's been all right because Luis Patino got hurt. Even though I love Patino and like Francisco Mejia, I loved Mejia, but like he was never going to be our catcher.
No, Mejia never was.
Matt, I got to ask you before we move on. Do you think Trout and Shohei should they move on from the Angels?
I think the Angels should move on from Shohei soon because if they truly, it depends on, bro. This is like my issue with a lot of teams is like, I honestly think some teams don't really care about winning. So the Angels lucked into two generational talents. Mike Trout was a 26 pick overall. Like there's some people that didn't even make the major leagues that were picked above Mike Trout. Mike Trout is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen. And might go down as truly one of, if not the best baseball player of all time. So they've had him during his peak.
Yeah.
They get Shohei. The only reason why they got Shohei was because the NL did not have a DH. Yep. If the NL didn't have a DH, Shohei Ohtani would be batting fourth for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, exactly. Between us
and not a down in my
It was between them and the Mariners and the Angels. Those were the three.
In the Mariners, I actually thought him on the Mariners would be kind of fun, to be completely honest.
No, it would have been, because I feel like the draw to be like Ichiro up there would have been the thing, probably.
Oh, what about Matt? I gotta ask. What about Ty France? How do you feel about the Ty France is up in Seattle?
Ty France trade. Don't bring
Nola trade. So Preller's made a couple blunders, right? Like the Trey Turner trade. Like he's made a few. The Ty France deal was his worst one because a lot of people will go, "Oh, he didn't have a spot. He didn't have a spot." Well, if we didn't pay fucking Haas $18 million a year to suck cock at first base, then he has a spot. Also, we traded Andres Munoz, who is going to be the closer of the future for the Mariners and who absolutely shoved it up our ass on Tuesday, bro.
And don't forget,
he made Manny Machado. He made Manny Machado look like me up there, bro. Yeah. He got gassed to a level he made me think Manny Machado was still hurt with that.
That was classic 102 Louisiana Bayou, dude. That thing was so by him. It's crazy.
And we had him. We had him. And we gave him up.
We gave him Matt Brash too, who's now like a top prospect. Like,
well, what's even worse is that Matt Brash was in a separate trade for Taylor Williams, who sucked for us.
Yes.
he was not good.
Who was even
we traded oh my God, Luis Torrens was in that deal as well. And there was Taylor Trammell.
Taylor Trammell.
Yeah, Taylor Trammell. But he was the headline of that deal, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But on a bright side, I'm super happy for Ty France, dude. That dude seems like the absolute man. He was like a 36 rounder out of San Diego State. And the fact that he is as good, might start in the All-Star game is awesome. So he
should start. He has an OPS over 850.
Bro, would I love him to be fucking starting at first base for the Padres right now? Absolutely. But the thing with me and a lot of these ex-Padres outside Matt Kemp, I root for all of them, bro. I don't root for Matt Kemp. That guy's bad vibes. When he went to Atlanta, he said San Diego's not a baseball town.
I was like, sorry you sucked. Sorry you sucked here, and that's why it happened that way.
Matt, did he pass the beer test?
More than it should, honestly.
I know. Matt Kemp was one of the worst things we've ever done. Was trade for Matt Kemp.
That was a bad one too. We traded Grandal, who sucks this year, but he's actually been a really good catcher.
No, but Grandal's been like a multiple-time All-Star since we've given him up. So.
Yeah, we're so valuable, bro.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to unwritten rules. So we still got time to do them. Let's move on. All right, so Clark, you got 3 to 4 unwritten rules for us.
Yes.
Matt kind of headlined these. So Matt, we got 3 categories. So you're basically gonna slap on a stamp if you want to think about it. So you're gonna think should stay in the league. So that's the first one. So middle is just that's fine, whatever. Like it doesn't hurt the game, it doesn't help. It doesn't really do anything for me. And then last is old timers, get out of here. This thing doesn't belong. Clark and I are very much against the kind of boomer thinking about baseball because the game boring.
No way.
Oh yeah, no way. Who would have thought? Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought a game that started in the 1800s, right? Like it's so funny, bro. So many.
Yeah. So we want you to think about it that way. So basically, should it stay in the league? Is it middle or should it be gone?
Perfect.
So Clark, what's our first one?
All right. So the first one we'll start with is the one that I think about a lot because it always gets kind of brought up. Not probably the one you're expecting, but bunting to break up a no-hitter is not okay.
Yeah, so this is actually an interesting one. So I would say it's middle because if the game is 7-0 and this guy's throwing a no-hitter and it's a legit no-hitter in the sense it's not one of these bullshit like 4 walks, 2 errors, right? Where there's been a bunch of people on base. If he's been shoving and it's like the 9th inning with 1 out and it's 7-1 or 7-0 Padres and Tommy La Stella puts down a bunt, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, come on, bro. Like, that's some fluke shit.
Yeah.
If it's 1-0, bunt. I'm trying to win that game, bro. Like, if it's within – this might be my take. If it's within slam range, 7th, 8th, 9th, I'm with it. Anything – if it's above slam range in the 8th or 9th inning, I think that's BS.
Yeah, that's my same way of thinking on it. I think I'm the same way. Like, if it's a close game and I'm laying down a bunt because all I need to know is get a run, I could possibly start something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it. But I think if there's if it's a 7-run game, 8-run game, if you lay down that bunt, I'm going to be like, really? That's what we just did? It's so weak. It's so weak. It just looks soft.
It's just like a cock move, bro. Like, of course, like you can argue like, oh, we're trying to win the game, but like, dog, like if nothing in the 8th inning or 9th inning. I'm like I don't know. I feel like that's I actually, when I was walking over here, that's the one question I thought when you guys read the unwritten rules. Yeah. That's the one I was going to be middle on. I knew I was. It all depends.
So
on
like there is the gray area in between of like, you know, you got to decide what point.
Absolutely, it depends on where you are in the game, right? And like, is it a playoff game? Is it a regular season? Like, like there's a ton of different things. Like who the pitcher is on the mound, right? Like if it's someone like Kershaw, who it sucks that it would be against like the Dodgers, but if it's a legendary. On the mound, and we got like Jose Azocar laying down a bunt in the 8th inning, like bro, like the benches would clear, bro. Like 7 runs. Like, I would crack up, but I'd be like, oh, if I was the other team, I'd be like,
nah. I'd be so pissed right now. I'd be like, you got to be kidding me! You just pulled that.
If Joe Musgrove was up 7-0 and he had a no hitter, and fucking Max Muncy laid down a bunt, I would drive to I would egg Max Muncy's house, bro. I would grab it from the bed and egg his house. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, I like that. So that's kind of the same way. So the second one that I had is another one that kind of came up with the Padres this year, similar to when they were losing to the Giants. And this kind of theme comes up a lot. When you're up a lot, you should just go station to station and stop stealing bases.
Nah, that's a boomer. That's a boomer. Get out of here, bro. The issue with the sport is like, bro, like what they were doing, like I understand getting mad, but like, dog, if my team is getting their asses kicked, like you deserve to get embarrassed. Like if the Padres are down 9, I was at that game when that happened. Like because I live in San Francisco, I live like right down the street. So like me and like all the homies were there, and like that was Yu Darvish's worst start of the year. That was a tough game, right? But like watching that shit, I'm like, bro, like we're getting our asses kicked. Like, rub it in, dude. How many opportunities are we gonna get?
Make it hurt,
bro. I want dude. The thing with baseball is like get some more rivalries going, bro. Like get some bad blood. Why we like playing the Dodgers is because I genuinely don't like their team, and I'm pretty sure a lot of players don't like them either, right? Like it's a difference between when you're playing the Reds on a day game, right? Like, okay, like doing that, like there's levels, right? Like if it's 13-0, and you're sending them, like I'm like, okay, like you don't have there's like having some feel, but bro, like if it's a division game, like send it, bro. Like I want to run it up, bro. Like I want to beat them by fucking 12.
Well,
like
one thing
I think about it. Well, go ahead, Ethan.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say is my opinion on this is like sometimes you just got to do it. I mean, look at the Padres this season when we were up 8-0 to the Diamondbacks. 6-0. Like, dude, you still need to score runs. They ended up coming back and then we lost. Like,
oh man, that game was the most 2021 bullshit.
Oh, that was so much pain right there. Wrapped in it. I was so pissed.
I was in this room, bro, and I legitimately, when Sham and I walked the first guy and then gave up the hit, I was like, all right, I was like, pull him, Bob, pull him. And then they gave up, he gives up the double, bro. And I'm literally in my head, I was alone in my room, bro. And I'm like, I've seen this movie before. I'm like, I don't like it. And they come back, bro. But Ethan, your point's 100% correct, bro. Like, Doc, there's truly no safe lead. Like the Yankees last night, I was at a bar watching with my buddy. They hit a grand slam up 10-0. And the Pirates announcers were all pissed.
You gotta be kidding me. Bro, I'm so over this.
No, they had a position pitcher pitching. If a position pitcher is pitching for your team, you are not allowed to talk. That's my take. Yeah. Because that means that you've given up. If you have I keep saying his name, which is I don't know why I keep calling him out. If you have Jose Azocar, fucking throw him for him. Like, bro, like if Azocar's on the bump, no Padres fans allowed to talk shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much saying that. The thing I always think about with this one, at least, that's always like a niche thing, maybe to me. I don't know if you ever think about this one, Matt, is that players have contract incentives last time I checked, and they're supposed to meet and get to home run numbers, and they're supposed to get to hit numbers, and they're supposed to go to an OPS, and they get large bonuses. And if you're a guy who's like new into the league and you can bet, $100,000 or something, you sure as shit bet I'm going to be swinging for the fences or something.
That's the most spot on shit I've ever heard, bro. Aaron Judge is in an MVP race right now.
Oh yeah,
he's in a contract season. And he had a grand slam last night off the Pirates, off some BS reliever, right? And that 4 RBIs, they're not going to put an asterisk. They're not putting an asterisk on those 4 RBIs when they look at his resume versus Yordan Alvarez. Bro, dude, you're a professional baseball player at anytime, bro. I don't care who's up, bro. Like if I'm a batter and I see some fucking right fielder pitching, I'm trying to hit that ball 500 feet every time.
I mean, there's like a game like that. I remember, like, I was listening to when the Padres were playing the Cubs, and they just beat the crap out of them.
That was awesome.
And Luke Voigt just launched that ball almost out straightaway center. And the Cubs announcers were like, "Whoa, I don't know about that one." I'm like, "Really? He just threw it up there 30 miles an hour." Frank Schwindel, I'm sorry, he just daddy hacked it.
No, Schwindel's given up. I love Schwindel, but he's given up some absolute nukes this year, bro. That's just good. Also, if you're a position player and you have pitched more than one game this season, your team sucks. Like, bro,
I would agree.
Your team sucks, bro. Like, dog. If Schwindel has more appearances than fucking Adrian Morejon, bro, that's an issue for both the Cubs and for the Padres.
Well, Clark, let's move on to our next one.
Yeah. So the third one that I have, just because I think it's a one that's kind of been talked about again. Let's go back to the Angels and the Mariners thing. If you hit a team's best player multiple times, whether on accident or not, it is your responsibility to retaliate at the other team.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. So I truly think, like, sometimes motherfuckers just get hit, right? Like, but also, like, dude, like, it's how you hit a player, right?
I would agree. Yep.
If I have Andres Munoz in the game and I'm going head hunting with Andres Munoz,
there's a line there.
There's like, I'm clearing the benches right away.
Yeah.
But if Craig Stammen comes in and accidentally hits fucking Mike Trout in the back, right?
Yeah.
Twice. One, if Craig Stammen's pitching, if Craig Stammen's facing Mike Trout twice, we're in a really bad spot.
Yeah, we're in a really bad spot.
That means we're down by like 15 minutes. But
he started a playoff game. Be nice to Craig.
Oh, legend. Hey, Craig Stammen, gonna be an all-time add-on to the booth, and like he's gonna be like Bob Scanlon.
No, he'll be great what Tim Stauffer does these days.
Bro, he's a great bro. Craig Stammen is an awesome dad. All this shit. Do I want him pitching in a 1-1 game against the Dodgers? No, but that's another point.
That's an
no. So if we're playing the Dodgers and Gratterall pegs Tatis and it's 6-0 and Gratterall pegs Tatis, I'm like, all right, like Mookie's getting one. Yeah, 100%. But if it's something like, hey, Tatis gets hit and it's a 1-1 game, and you could tell for a fact that motherfucker wasn't trying to hit him, but it just got away, then I'm like, bro, like, I don't know. I think it's like you have to kind of know it's with ill intent, right? Like if it's with ill intent, then I'm with it. But like, dude, unless for the Padres, bro, like we got to either be up by a lot or down by a lot, because I'm not giving any free base runners, bro. Yeah. Like, dog, like I don't care if like we peg Acuna, right? Like, and they peg Tatis, and then it's a 2-2 game, and we're like, oh, we're gonna get Ozzie Albies back. No, get him out. I'm trying to win. So it depends on the situation of the game. But I do think, bro, like that's kind of just like hockey, right? Like, of course, baseball isn't hockey, but I do love the idea of like benches clearing is sick. Like I think that's
great. It's such a fun sight.
Like the Angels Mariners thing was like that brought a lot of attention to the game. And like there's always
Anthony Rendon with a full cast on his right hand trying to throw a punch, dude. Unbelievable.
Or Archie Bradley when he was trying to get out of the dugout, falls and he breaks it. Like shit like that is like, bro, like that's like fun. Like in baseball, trust me, like I'm as big in Clark. I can tell by this call, like we're very big baseball guys, right?
Yeah.
So our perspective is a little skewed. But for the average fan, right? Like, bro, like if you take your boys, like you and your homies are going to the game and they don't really care that much about baseball and they see a fight, they're going to tell everybody about dude, we were at that game when Grisham got hit and they chased and they're kind of into it now.
No, again, it turns it up to a whole other level for everyone.
Yeah, dude. And like, bro, like sometimes, man, like I'm watching, I mean, Padres are a different story, but like I'll watch like a fucking Pirates-Reds game during the day. And I'm like, dog, like this game's super boring. But if Amir Garrett's in there, even though he got traded, but like Amir Garrett throws it at someone, now he got some energy, bro. Now I'm watching the next inning. I'm like, bro, is David Bednar going to retaliate? Like, I'm like,
I mean, there was that just happened the other day with like Amir Garrett and Javier Baez, even though they're in Kansas City and Detroit.
They've had beef for.
Oh, they hate each other. But I love it. I love that where there's like the huge rivalry within it. It makes the baseball way more entertaining, and it needs more of that juice.
They need storylines, bro. Remember, think about the Red Sox. I mean, we were young, but bro, like the true hatred between the Red Sox.
Varitek and A-Rod fighting each other, you know, the whole,
You got, Varitek and A-Rod, like stuff like that, right? Pedro throwing Don Zimmer, like shit like
Pedro
that.
Pedro throwing Don Zimmer, like so iconic.
Bro, so you look at those and you're like, bro, like the sport needs more of that. I'm not saying like go and peg all these players, but like, bro, every now and then, dog, like if a team's talking shit or kind of like they're playing like certain way, like, dude, like, so like the Dodgers series, right? Like, hey, every now and then I'm like, yeah, bro, just fucking let one go, man. Honestly, it's also not head. You have to not headhunt because you can't.
Headhunting, I'm totally like against.
Seriously, no headhunting, no. Bro, you're a professional baseball player.
You can put one in the back or in the butt.
Right in the back. Right in the back. Hit him in the back, and then let's go. Anything like a headhunting or any shit like that. Nah.
Yeah, like that's totally like the only time this year I've seen with the Padres, and I don't know if you thought the same way.
Yeah,
is when we were playing the Diamondbacks, the last home series we had.
Yeah,
Profar was 4-for-4, and they drilled him right in the quad 3. I was like, all right, you go out there and hit the first guy that gets in that box next.
And then that's what Nick Martinez did.
Yeah, no, he didn't hit anyone.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he didn't. That's what I was mad about. I was like, we gotta have someone go. That was why I was kind of pissed off. No one ended up throwing at him.
Yeah, no, the Profar thing was funny, bro. Profar, on an unrelated note, he gets in so many fools' heads. I need him to be a Padre for life, just strictly because he's such a troll, dude. I love it.
No, he's great. I love Profar. So he's gonna opt out, which sucks, but
he is gonna opt out, which it really does suck. But hopefully, we'll see. The Padres, I'll end it on this because I know you guys have been long, but the Padres are in for a very interesting next 8 months. I really am very interested to see what we do next at the trade deadline. There's some serious moves to be made, right? But like, I also think trading our future for a couple rentals could come back and backfire really bad because I think we have some legit prospects. Like I think Robert Hassel is going to be really good.
No,
I think James Wood is going to be our best. He's going to be our best prospect like ever. So it's interesting to see like what we're going to do, but getting the Will Myers contract off the books, getting some of these contracts off, and then like, are we going to re-sign Joe? Like a bunch of stuff. So if you're a Padres fan, it's going to be a fun couple of months.
It will be. And I think the big thing, I think his deadline is going to be huge because I think it has to be, if they don't go out there and they figure out, let's say they fall apart again or they don't make the proper moves and it's because we missed the playoffs because we couldn't trade for people, you got to get rid of Preller. I feel like that's got to be the end of the road.
Yeah, dude. Preller's best thing. I was talking to my buddies about this earlier. What Preller's the best at is scouting, right?
No,
so when you look at Jack, so right now Jackson Merrill and James Wood, who were our first and second round picks last year, are in our top prospects, right? Like in our top 5. And James Wood has potential to be our number 1 prospect this time next year.
Oh yeah.
So when you draft guys like that, you refill the farm. So then you make other guys expendable. You make a guy like Luis Campusano, who I really thought was going to be the catcher of the future. It looks like the Padres just low-key don't like really fuck with him like that. So like,
he's a guy who I think is expendable for sure. Like a guy like Campusano, I wouldn't mind trading. He's not a guy who I'd be losing.
Jorge Alfaro's been awesome, dude. I'm like,
I love Alfaro.
Give me 2 or 3 years of a healthy Alfaro, bro. Like that moves us up. Also, remember the name Gonzalez. He's our number one international prospect for the class of 2023, and he's a catcher, and the Padres have dibs on him. So if he becomes a Padre, he'll instantly become our number 2 prospect, and if he pans out, will be like the next like really, really big thing. So it'll take a couple years. He's like, I saw a video on him when he was like 14 on YouTube, and they were like, I like looked at him and I was like, nah, this kid is gonna be really good. And then I found out really soonly after that like he was like the Padres have been like talking to him like he's rocking Padres shit at like because it's all weird how they do that. But he's gonna be sick. So remember the name, Ethan Salas. Maybe in like 5 years you'll be like, oh dude, remember when Devine told us?
Remember when Matt told us about Ethan Salas? We'll be like,
exactly,
bro.
Yeah, we'll post it. Speaking of the Padres, it's currently 0-0, and they have 2 outs and a runner.
I got the game on the side.
Yes,
I keep that shit stacked. First and third, 1 out, baby. The professor's up. Need him to drive something.
Well,
shit.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say before
those are the 3 that I had. Those are the 3 that I liked and I went with. So I thought they're great answers. Cool. I liked them. Same thing about them. Well,
Matt, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a part of the show. I'm glad you got to come onto our backseat and be backseat.
Bro, dude, I will be supporting. Inviting me on. Best of luck. Keep killing it. You guys are doing great. And everybody who's listened, keep listening. These guys are the mans.
Thanks. Is there anything you want to
on the Devine Sports Gospel too?
Yeah. Sure. If you guys are listening and you want to follow us, we're at Devine Sports Gospel on Instagram and TikTok. We have a podcast out. Hopefully, we're gonna run it back soon. And then our our Twitter is at Devine Gospel. I couldn't get the Sports Gospel, so it's a little religious, which kind of I was trying to like, all right, remember it's all sports, no religion, just to let everybody know. But appreciate you guys having me on, man. I'm
of course
very excited to be homies with you guys now and just keep it going.
Of course,
yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then for us, just make sure you guys hear it. Just rate our podcast, listen to it. Find us on TikTok, Twitter. Pretty easy to find us. Backseat_pod. On TikTok, it's from the Backseat. Thank you guys for listening. This has been a great episode. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And